All right, y'all, welcome to the show. I got a big one for you today. Forgive me if I'm a little slow. I feel like my brain is not firing correctly at the moment, so you're going to have to roll with the punches. So in just a second, I got a whole slew of clips for you. Trump did not have a good weekend. He's visibly exhausted. He's babbling endlessly on multiple occasions. He felt the need to bring up dicks. We'll talk about that. Then after that, we have a bombshell story about how Elon Musk is effectively doing election fraud for Trump and bragging about it. Mehdi Hassan goes on Piers Morgan's show and bulldozes an IDF goon directly to his face. Later on, we have Trump praising Netanyahu's psychotic murder spree. Marjorie Taylor Greene is already lying about the 2024 election, already laying the it's stolen groundwork, and Kamala roasting hecklers to their face when she was doing a rally. So, lot to get to, lot to talk about. You guys know the drill. Please do me a big favor and subscribe to the channel. That helps out massively. You can like the video and all that fun stuff. And a massive thank you to everybody who supports this show on Patreon. We couldn't do it without you guys. Remember, I don't talk to any advertisers at all. And I'm not like a lot of the YouTubers that were mentioned in that indictment where they take money from foreign governments and shady billionaires. We don't do that here. So you guys fund it $2 at a time on Patreon, or you tip on YouTube. There's a thanks button here where a lot of people tip that way. And outside of that, we just have the default ads on YouTube. So anyway, all right, let's go ahead and dive into it. So let's start with this. A lot of people are showing like the 30-second clip here of Donald Trump doing a rally in Pennsylvania. He starts discussing Arnold Palmer, who's a dead pro golfer. You know, in his era, he was one of the best, right? He starts talking about him. Now, the reason why, to be fair, the reason why he brings up Arnold Palmer is because the rally is in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, and Arnold Palmer is from Latrobe, Pennsylvania. Okay? So there is some logical nexus as to how he starts this conversation. Now, the problem is, he literally goes on for 12 minutes about Arnold Palmer. If Trump is not using a teleprompter, well, God damn it, he should. Because it's one thing to do, a minute or two thing on Arnold Palmer being from Latrobe. It's a totally other thing to go on for 12 minutes when, I don't know, you tell me, what do you think? 4% of the audience might be golf fans, might care about such a thing? I mean, the election is a couple weeks away. And you're talking about a dead pro golfer. Now, I'm a golfer. I love golf. But even for me, I'm looking at that like, God damn it, that's weird. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So I'm not going to show you just a 30-second clip. I'm going to give you a little more than that. I'll give you like 3 minutes or so you can get the full context of what he was saying. But no matter how you slice it or dice it, he ends up in a very, very bizarre place in this speech.
It's got 4 courses, many championships, many of the best championships were at Doral.
He's talking about his course here, of course.
And I was building these beautiful, they call them villas, about 88 units in each one, hotel villas. And I named them after the 10 greatest.
I'm going to speed it up a little bit because believe me, he's talking really slow. He is exhausted. There's no doubt about it. That's why, by the way, he canceled like 4 or 5 different mainstream media appearances.
Golfers, including like Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, Ben Hogan, Gary Player, Slammin', Sammy Snead, all great players. And I said, Arnold, I really want to name one after you. Would you like it? He said, I'd love it. I'd be honored to have that. And we flew down for the opening ceremony to cut a ribbon for the Arnold Palmer Villa. And it's, to this day, people just love it. And I'll never forget the day. He was having a little hard time. He was a little older. He hit the 80s. But he was still, when he got up there, he had that magic like nobody had. And, there were a few golfers that you could say maybe slightly better, a few, not many, but there was nobody that had his magic. He was a thriller. He was unbelievable. He knew how to win, and he knew how to just do whatever it was that electrified a crowd. If I had him here right now with me, this crowd would be going absolutely crazy. They'd say, Trump, get off the stage. We want Arnold Palmer to speak. He would electrify a crowd. And he would go for shots that nobody else could do, and they were risky as hell.
Can we just say, like, he's absolutely dating himself here? This is old man stuff. One of the hallmarks of old man stuff is, like, talking about the past, right? It's like going on a long rant about Bing Crosby. or Bob Hope. Like, people are listening like, okay, what are we getting at here?
Sometimes it wouldn't work out, but usually it did with him. He was an incredible man. He was an incredible champion, and he came from Latrobe. And so when I said a couple of days ago, I said, where are we going to be today?
Okay, we are 9 minutes and 52 seconds into babbling about Arnold Palmer.
We're going to be in Latrobe. I said, do you know what that means? No, sir. What does it mean? I said, that means Arnold Palmer. Because Arnold told me he could be, and I knew he could be. They wanted him everywhere. Just like I wanted to name a villa after him. Everybody wanted him. He could have been in any place he wanted. He said, no, this is where I want to be. This is the place I love. I mean, how good is that, right? And he died a very proud owner of this course, and he was always tinkering with it. I said, Arnold, what are you doing? He said, well, I'm moving the hole 4 yards back. I said, nobody knows the difference, Arnold. And he said, I don't care. I love it. I love this place. He could not get enough of Latrobe. So, I've been here before, and I've told the story before, not in this kind of detail. Because, you have these teleprompters. If I would read it off a teleprompter, it wouldn't be so good, right?
Yeah, dude. And it's a home run now, yeah.
And it would be a lot shorter. It wouldn't be as good. And I didn't want to do that. I said, when I come here, I'm going to tell them the real story of Arnold. But Arnold Palmer was all man. And I say that in all due respect to women, and I love women. But this is a guy that was all man. This man was strong and tough. And I refuse to say it, but when he took showers with the other pros, they came out of there, they said, oh, my God. That's unbelievable. I had to say it.
What are we doing? What are we doing? Bro, you got a couple weeks until the election, and you're talking about a dead pro golfer's junk. And by the way, why would you even, why would you know about that? Look, I've said it before, the most old man shit of all time. If you go to some stodgy old private golf club and you're in the locker room, watch out. Because old dudes walk around with their junk out like nobody's business. They'll hop out of the shower and just be swanging on the way to their locker. Like, I don't know what's going on there. It's a Freudian field day. A psychologist could break that down till the cows come home, right? But why, Donald Trump, do you know about Arnold Palmer's meat size? I'm curious. I want to know why you know it. And again, couple weeks till an election, and this is what you're talking about. This is your closing argument. So now, just to be clear, this was not the only time over the past few days that he talked about dicks. So he's bringing back a Trump classic here. He's on Dan Bongino's show, and the 12 people that are watching it are very excited. And listen to what he says.
Democrats don't have to be honest. They really don't have to be honest because they will never be accused of anything. It's interesting. I was so amazed that Harvey Weinstein got schlonged. He got hit as hard as you can get hit because he was sort of the king of the woke, right? Yeah. And yet he got hit. And I figured that maybe he wouldn't get hit so hard. But boy, did he get... you don't know him well. I don't know him well. But I watched that, and it was amazing. So when they do get hit, they get hit. But that's the only one I can think of. Normally, they protect everybody. What they did with Adams, I think, is very suspect.
Harvey Weinstein got schlonged. Okay, could we just say, for the record here, schlonged is not a thing? That's not a thing anybody says ever, right? And to the extent you're going to say it's intuitive, I think Harvey was doing the schlonging. He did not get schlonged. Oh, my God. I don't know how many of you guys remember this, but he famously said it about Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. He said, Hillary got schlonged by Obama. And everybody was like, Jesus Christ, what are you saying? And he's like, no, I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that. It's a very common phrase, very common saying, schlonged. I didn't mean it in the way that you think I mean it. I don't mean it like... And here he brings it back. He revives it. Now, by the way, he's saying this in the context of making the point that, bro, they never go after Democrats. They only go after Republicans, bro. And then I love how at the end of the clip, he contradicts himself. He brings up not only Harvey Weinstein, but he also ends up bringing up Eric Adams. They only go after Republicans, except for this Democrat, and except for that Democrat, and oh, wait, that's right, I forgot, Bob Menendez, and oh, yes, Hunter Biden, and oh, yeah, there's many others that they've gone after and are going after and will continue to go after in the future. Guys, this is just not true. I don't know how else to get it across to people. Yeah, okay, they're going after Trump. It's because you committed crimes. But they also went after Bob Menendez. They also went after Hunter Biden. They also went after Eric Adams. And by the way, the second they went after Eric Adams, all of a sudden, boom, MAGA flipped and was supportive of Eric Adams. I'm not kidding. They went and dug up an old comment he made about how, whatever, too many immigrants are coming into New York City or something to that effect. And they were like, see, he says too many immigrants are coming into New York City, and that's when he got the charges brought against him. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I think the majority of the population has that opinion. Are the feds opening up cases on everybody who believes that? If they did, you'd have to open up cases on the entire elected Republican Party and like more than half of the Democrats. What are we talking about? God, they're so stupid. So if you are on the left, or you're a liberal, or you're a Democrat, and you want MAGA to like you, all you have to do is commit some crimes. And then they'll add you into their big deep state plot, where like, oh, the deep state's coming after them. Obviously, whoever's charged with crimes must be correct by definition. This is how they think now. They are so conspiracy brained that that's where they end up. But there you have it, schlonged. So I got 2 clips for you from the past few days, and 2 separate occasions. He's talking about dicks. Very powerful closing argument you got there, Don. He really, really closing strong in this election, isn't he? All right, so I got more for you. He can't help himself. He went on Patrick Bet-David's show. Okay, and as Corin tweeted and pointed out, here you see former President Trump, and right above his head, hey, whose name is that right there? Oh, that's right, that's me. Very surreal to see my name above this dude as he's babbling. But this is one of the moments that went kind of viral from him going on Patrick Bet-David's show, and you'll see why.
Really like me. And I think black women do too, but they have a woman who is black, although you would say she's Indian, but she is black. But she really, a lot of people didn't know, which is true. But
I learned about it just a couple months ago. Maybe, the fact that
she's black,
yeah.
Or that she's Indian.
The fact that she's black, I thought she was Indian until a couple months ago. Things changed.
I mean, a lot of people. Well,
because if you follow baseball, Sammy Sosa kind of, you sometimes have to respect people. They change, right? So I thought maybe she was doing a Sammy Sosa the other way.
Yeah, Sammy's changed.
Right.
People change.
If you remember Sammy Sosa,
he could hit the ball.
He could hit the ball, 66 home runs. Yes.
I have no doubt. His staffers told him 300 times, whatever you do, don't bring that line back about Kamala's race. Why are you obsessed with Kamala's race? Shut up about Kamala's race. Because it's always the Republicans who say, oh, Democrats are obsessed with race and they can't stop talking about race and it's race this and it's race that and it's identity politics this and identity politics that. And Kamala has said, fuck all about race. The Democrats have said, fuck all about race. But Trump can't help himself. Who's the one playing identity politics? Who's the one questioning race? And he's so baffled at this idea of being biracial. Yeah, she's black and she's Indian. Where's the paradox? Where's the problem here? Can't help himself, can't help himself. By the way, the week that Trump came out there and went with this line, he went down in the polls. He went down quite a bit. Because people are looking at it like, what the fuck does this have to do with putting food on my dinner table? What does it have to do with my taxes or inflation or healthcare or anything? This is just like a gutter attack, a gutter political attack. So, can't help himself. But I believe I have one more for you here. So, Trump is, again, back on Dan Bongino's podcast. And here's what he had to say about the J6ers.
Why are they still being held? Nobody's ever been treated like this. Nobody's ever. Maybe the Japanese during Second World War, frankly. But, they were held, too. But when you look at Portland and the damage they did and killed people, because other than Ashley, nobody was killed here. Nobody was killed. And there were no guns involved. And these are all gun owners. These are people that have guns, but they never went to the Capitol with guns. Yeah. It's really amazing. It's a very sad, I think it's a very sad day in the country's life.
So, of course, the gun thing is just factually not true. He said he didn't want them to go through the metal detectors because he said those weapons aren't to hurt me. He famously said that. And he's comparing the people who stormed the Capitol on January 6th to folks who were in Japanese internment camps. No, Don. No. The people put in Japanese internment camps are 100% innocent. They did nothing wrong. It was just like peak racism, peak generalizing and stereotyping and being bigoted and xenophobic and saying, because you're Japanese, we suspect you're secret spies for Emperor Hirohito. Like, that was the idea, right? Is like, hey, at any time, a sleeper cell of Japanese fighters can be activated, so let's just shove all of them into camps. Insane. Absolutely insane. And he's saying the January 6ers are like that. No, the January 6ers stormed the Capitol and tried to prevent certification of the winner of the election. So in other words, they committed crimes. They committed crimes, and they went to court for said crimes, and many of them were found guilty. By the way, some of them were, I think, were found not guilty, right? If they were just part of the peaceful protest and they didn't actually go inside the Capitol and they didn't do any violence, that's one thing. But no, hundreds of people who were there did violence, broke windows, stormed the Capitol, went into, whether it was the Senate or Congress and took pictures of classified documents sitting on the table. Like, what are we doing here? This is honestly the most dangerous part of Trump, the fact that here we are years later, and he can't say the obvious about what happened in 2020. He can't say he lost. He can't say that what happened on January 6th was objectively bad. Guys, after all the violence on January 6th, Trump and his allies were still making phone calls to congressmen and senators and saying, hey, delay certification. Don't vote to certify. And we haven't even mentioned the fake elector slate, which they called fake and fraudulent. That's what they called it. And he still can't say, hey, I lost that. So, look, when he says stuff like this, Americans look at this and they go, that's just really extreme. That's just really extreme. I can't get on board with such extreme nonsense. This is one of the main reasons why Republicans underperformed in the 2022 midterms. It was abortion, and it was 51% of their candidates being election deniers. They can't just state the obvious and say, yeah, Trump lost in 2020. They can't do it. And so here we are. As you can see, he is visibly exhausted. He is slow, and he cannot stop bringing up dicks and making horrible points. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.